Hi, this is Andy Petronic, and I'm here today to talk you through my 10-minute mobility sequence. This is something I designed to help keep your body moving well, make sure it's prepared for life, and to help keep all the joints in your body supple, mobile, and above all else, happy. Let's get to it. The first movement in this sequence is called a two-legged bridge. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your feet up flat on the ground, your knees bent, and you're going to raise your hips up into the air. You're going to do this by squeezing your butt cheeks and rolling your hips up. So you're moving up one vertebrae at a time, and you're moving back down one vertebrae at a time. As soon as you've done 5 reps on one leg, you're going to move to a single leg version, which will intensify it, makes it a little tougher, but it's exactly the same movement. I'm really focusing in on keeping my body moving up one vertebrae at a time and back down one vertebrae at a time. At the very bottom, you can't see it in the video, but I am actually arching my back. So I'm going from an arch back to a flattened back and then rolling up in the air. The next movement we moved into is called the twist and reach bridge. It starts in the same position as the two-legged bridge, but with the hips up in the air. And the thing you're going to see me doing is reaching and twisting. I'm reaching up over my head and stretching out, extending my body as long as possible and reaching with my fingertips as far away as I can from my toes. My body is extremely active in this mobilization. Each time I come back down, I'm actually pulling myself back down using my hamstrings. So I'm extending and pushing myself up and away, and I'm pulling myself back down using my hamstrings. You'll also notice in the video that my butt never comes back to the floor. The next movement in the series is called the straddle twisting pushup. You're going to start this by sitting up on the floor, taking your legs out in front of you and straddling them, taking them as wide apart as you can. Then you're going to rotate your torso back behind you and do a pushup. It looks simple. It's not so easy. The one thing you're going to find as you go through this movement is on every single repetition, your legs are going to want to pull back together. Your job over the 15 or 20 reps you do is to keep your legs as far apart as you can. There really is no definitive width to your legs, but you should feel that straddle position at all times. You're also going to notice that the opposite foot from the side that you're going to in the push-up is going to rotate. That's absolutely fine. It's part actually of the mobilization. Next in the sequence are floor sweepers. Laying face up on the floor with your arms stretched out to your side. You're going to take one leg and sweep it up to the opposite hand. You're going to try to do this and keep that leg as close to the ground as you can, as if you're trying to like squeegee the floor or like a windshield wiper, sweep the floor. You're not actually going to touch the floor, and you may or may not touch your hand. If you're super flexible, you'll go up beyond the height of your hand. And if you're not so flexible, you won't even get close to your hand. Either one is fine. Do it to the limit of your ability. These are supposed to feel good, by the way. They shouldn't be incredibly difficult or intense. Part of the magic in doing these mobilizations as opposed to stretches is it's kind of like moving a rusty door hinge. You're moving it back and forth enough times so that joint becomes more mobile. Next, we have scorpions. This is done very similarly to floor sweepers, but instead of laying face up, you're going to lay face down with your arms stretched out to the sides. The first thing you'll see me do is to reach my leg up above me as high as I can, kind of like the stinger of a scorpion. Then I'm going to drop that leg toward the opposite side and twist and reach. I'm trying to actually get my foot to come up and touch my hand. If you're extremely flexible already, you'll probably have no problem touching your foot to your hand. For most people, that is like a pipe dream. It's taken me a long time to get so that I can actually touch my foot, my toes to my hand. You might find as you go through 15 to 20 reps of this that your body starts becoming looser. Each of the little facet joints in your back start moving more fluidly, and they'll just slowly and subtly give you a little bit more range of motion. It's really important that you get that first, I hesitate to use the word kick, but that first extension of your leg and glute up into the air before you do the rotation. Next is the prone torso twist and knee lift. This is probably the most technically difficult movement of the sequence. So don't feel bad if it takes you a while to get it. You're going to start this face down, and big thing to remember is your legs don't twist. Your lower body does not twist. So what you do to start this is you rotate your upper body. Your arms say spread apart at 180 degrees, and you're going to rotate until your chest turns from face down to face up. Once you get to that position, you're going to pull your knee up so that your knee comes up almost like you're trying to touch your elbow. And then you're going to rotate the other way. Like I said, this is really technically challenging, and it's going to take you a while to figure it out and to get it. Once you do, you'll probably have it, kind of like riding a bike, but it might take you a bunch of attempts to figure this one out and to get your body moving the way that I do in the video. Next, we have the thoracic cat-cow. You get into this position by starting with your shoulders directly over your wrists and your hips directly over your knees, and then you push yourself back, tucking your toes under. You can see I'm getting a stretch on my big toes and my feet, and my butt is pushing back into my heels. This brings this movement more up into the thoracic spine. On every one of the movements, I'm exhaling as I'm pushing my back up, and I'm inhaling as I'm coming down. I'm tucking my head under, and I'm moving my pelvis, pulling my hips under, squeezing my butt cheeks, and then extending. I move immediately into the thoracic cat-cow with a horizontal rotation. This also takes a little bit of practice to get good at. I don't even know if I'm good at it yet. I'm moving in a horizontal circle as I do the cat-cow. I do probably 5 of the thoracic cat-cow, and then I go into somewhere between 5 and 10 of the horizontal rotation cat-cow to the left, and then 5 to 10 of the horizontal rotation to the right. Like I said, this one is one that's challenging to get the movement on. If you don't get it at first, just do a bunch more of the plain cat-cow and continue to work your way toward getting in that horizontal rotation. Next up, we have something I call the toe to heel squat. You're going to squat down toward the ground, and I don't care at the beginning whether you're in your heels or you're up on your toes and the balls of your feet. What you're going to do once you're in that position is you're going to move back and forth between your feet flat on the floor and you're up on the balls of your feet. You're trying to make the movement look identical so that your body isn't moving when you go from heels to balls of your feet. You can tell that I'm absolutely moving. My butt's moving. My body tips over forward as I move into my heels. I'm trying not to do that. I'm doing my best not to do it, but I haven't mastered that yet. I go immediately into what I call single knee drop squats. So staying in the squat position, up on my toes. If you're comfortable in your heels, you can do it from your heels. But I'm going to drop one knee toward the opposite foot. It's kind of a rotational movement. You can see also that I'm keeping my shoulders relatively quiet. I'm not necessarily rotating my shoulders as I do this. And the next thing I'm going to do is to move into something I call double knee drop squats. And the only reason this is called a squat is because you're starting in a squat. You're going to lower your knees down toward the floor together. And I'm trying to do this delicately. It should not feel or sound like a big bang when you get down to the floor. You're going to lean back, extending your hips, opening up your hips, and then drop your knees to the floor, moving back and forth between the two positions. Well, that wraps it up. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember, consistency is key. Keep doing this or my 4-minute mobility sequence on a daily basis, and I promise it will pay huge dividends.